Hi guys, welcome to Moga Off Talks, Day 2. I'm super honored to share the stage with these legends and talk about the history of electronic music in Portugal. I'm proud to say that I was part also of hanging out with these lovely people, and we had a great time. And now it's time to talk about the history that is pretty rich, and I don't think that people know enough about it. And I know Shcuro has made an amazing movie, and
Not just me, but
yes,
that I was a part of it.
yes, of course, and your team, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, I want everyone to introduce themselves. I think it's a lot easier that way. Do you want to start, FeRRo, or Mr. DJ Vibe?
Let's give Carlos to talk.
Hello, good evening, or good afternoon. My name is Antonio Pereira, as known as DJ Vibe, and I've been DJ for past 4 decades, and born and raised from Lisbon. That's my introduction. Good?
Hi, my name is Vitor Belanciano. Well, in the 90s, I was a journalist, initially in the newspaper Blitz and then Público. And also, I was a DJ in that period, more a kind of alternative to techno and house things, more drum and bass and this kind of other stuff. And also one of the members of a collective in that period called Cool Train Crew. And that's it.
Hello, my name is Nuno. I was a journalist and started a music magazine back in 1994 called Dance Club. Nowadays it's just a website, but I have some print copies if you want to look later. And that's it. The magazine was about house and techno, basically. He's the guy.
Hello, my name is Yansung. It's my real name. I was born in Mozambique, grew up in Lisbon, and I became a DJ in the 90s and also made part of a first formation of a hip-hop band called The Weasel.
Hi, my name is Leite. It's my real name. And I've been DJing for 4 decades, like To. And I'm also from Mozambique. So I come from Lisbon, the neighborhood. Here I am.
Hi, I'm João Shcuro, not my real name. And I've been inspired by all these people for the past 30-something years, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm also a DJ and producer, and more recently, movie producer. Alongside Maria, who was in the audience. We did this documentary called Paraíso that relates to the stuff that we're going to discuss today, the beginning of dance music in Portugal.
Hello, I'm Ricardo FeRRo. I'm known more as FeRRo than as Ricardo. I'm also from Lisbon. When I started DJing, Luis and To were already here and DJing. I followed their generation. So I've been around for playing for almost 30 years. And that's it, I'm based in Lisbon. Thank you.
Okay, so my first question is, it's a deep question, I think, because I'd like to know, when was it the first time that you heard electronic music? And when did you decide that that was going to be your path in your life?
Since ever, because I was listening radio DJ at the time. He passed away already, and he was like a teacher for me. So he teach me to listen all kinds of music, from punk to rock to electronic, so alternative music, stuff like that. And this became at the end of the 70s, so beginning of the 80s. So basically, since that time.
Can you tell me his name? I think I know, but I just want everyone to know.
The DJ radio?
Yeah.
The radio DJ. What was it? Qual era o nome? António Sérgio. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Som da Frente, and he had a show before Som da Frente. That starts in the 80s. So I follow him since that time. And things start to happen.
I already had this thing of manipulating and trying to beat match music, but I studied in the Algarve, not in Lisbon, and the music didn't reach at the time that I would love to have it. But when I moved to Lisbon, I went to this club near 24 de Julho. It was called Kremlin. Yeah. And there was a DJ there playing with really big hair. And he's here with us now. It's Vitor Pereira. And since then, things changed. The way the music, that music, I had no reach to it in the south, in the Algarve. And I knew this was the thing I wanted to know more about it and to go to purchase, to go for it.
Well, I didn't have a click to be a DJ, to be honestly. But I remember when I first time start to hear the electronic music. In that time, it was 1980, 81. It was like Rick Wakeman or Kraftwerk. It was the first records I started to listen electronic, because back in the days it was more rock and pop. But I remember when Kraftwerk arrived, it was like, wow, what's this? And and from then I started to pay more attention what comes next, So it was that the main thing pushed me to start to pay more attention on electronic, because I was able to had the chance to listen whatever I want, because I was. My family has a record store, so I was involved with all kind of music, and that gives me a wide range of different styles, from Portuguese FeRRo to soundtracks, movies, and classics, and a lot of different genres.
One important thing that I remember from Kremlin was the closing.
Yeah.
Every night, Kremlin closed with Moment in Love
from Art of Noise.
Exactly.
It was the record we used to.
Every night.
Yeah.
This is how it closed.
And before that, I used to play in Alcantara. Sometimes I used to close with Nina Simone, My Baby Just Care.
Yes.
And it was to do like a kind of mixes with Madre Deus, live, sing. Yeah.
My Baby Just Cares for Me.
Yeah.
I remember perfect. Jan?
I started going out to an African club in the afternoon. They would play kizomba and kuduro, but the DJ would make a break every afternoon when he was playing. He would make a break to play some electronic music, So I remember hearing Herbie Hancock. I didn't know it was Herbie Hancock, but I remember, and I was like, wow, this sound, But I never thought of becoming a DJ until Manuel Reis made me the offer to start DJing there. When I was looking for a job for the summer, he said, I need a DJ.
And for those that don't know, Manuel Reis was the owner of Lux. And Fragile.
This
sorry.
was
Yeah, but
this
Fragile,
was
sorry.
this was in Fragile.
Yes, this was Fragile. And you were very young.
I was very, very young.
Well, in the 80s, I grew up in Barreiro, is a suburban town near Lisbon, of course. And then I started listening to, post-punk things, the Joy Division cliché, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I heard Prince, and Prince, it was a strange character for a guy who listened to Joy Division. I think it was my first, big hero in a certain way. And then after I heard for the first time hip-hop, I think, Grandmaster Flash, for instance. And even today, when I don't know nothing about a certain kind of music, I have this curiosity to think, who are these people? What they are, what they try to transmit, what they are trying to communicate. And then it's the same for the techno, Detroit techno, or Chicago house, or the acid house when the acid house became a big thing in Europe. So that's it. I don't know. All kinds of music, actually. And of course, in the 90s, I think the big people nowadays talk about Nirvana or talk about, Smashing Pumpkins and the grunge. But no, in the 90s, it's electronic music who is the big thing. And in terms of the idea of the community, of the feel things in the dance floor, I think it was the big challenge, the big thing. So that's it.
So my interest on the electronic music, I think started on radio, with the radio shows like from DJ Vibe on Energia FM was a radio station, some others on Radio Cidade was more commercial stuff. I think my interest started there, and some afternoon parties on Crazy Nights was a club in Lisbon, and Loucuras, also in Lisbon. I was like 16 years old, something like that. Start there. You also play there, Loucuras. But radio, I think radio was the most important part.
Well, for me, it was a few years later than for all of you. But I remember that I was always interested in music and having like guitar lessons and drum lessons and stuff like that, and playing in bands. And the older brother of a friend of mine, I used to go to their house like after school many times, and they would lend me CDs from their collection. And I remember like the first ones they lent me were The Weasel.
I've heard this story before.
With Yen singing. And loads of American hip-hop like Wu-Tang. And I remember then on one of these CDs, it was the Method Man album, Method Man from the Wu-Tang. There was this remix of one of the singles, and the remix was Prodigy remix. And I was like, wow, what's this? And little did I know that many years later I would listen to Yansung playing it, and it's the only DJ that I have listened to playing this track. And from there, I started looking who are the Prodigy, and I don't know, like all these big electronic bands from the 90s, like Prodigy, Underworld, Chemical Brothers, etc. And I started going to record shops to find these records. And the first time that I went, I didn't find anything like that. I went to this record shop in Bairro Alto that I stumbled upon by chance. And I was listening to these records, and I found this record that I started becoming obsessed with, and it was a Jeff Mills record. And it was my first record, and I brought it home, and well, never stopped until now.
So this is all pre-internet, and you talk a lot about the radio, but there's also a lot of course, the record shops. That was very important. I know for me, I learned a lot about music going to a record shop, talking to the shop manager, and he would tell us what each record was. He knew all the stories behind the records. I don't know how, but he knew everything. So we would buy records through the person who was selling them. was it the same thing here? And then because it was hard to find dance records.
But that was in New York or here?
Well, mine was in Philadelphia. I grew up in Philadelphia.
Same here.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to buy any kind of
Yeah,
music.
so where do you find the music? Because when I went to Kremen for the first time when it opened and Vibe was playing, I had never heard music like that in my life. And to me, I liked hardcore, I liked heavier music, and then all of a sudden it was, wow, what is this music? You know, the first time I heard French Kiss, it was, to me, I don't know, an experience like that I never had before, listening to a song. And maybe you were playing it, maybe it was Frankie
Probably.
Knuckles, I don't know who it was, because you were also bringing all of these people to Portugal. But how do you know at that time how to put this music together, you know, without this being on the radio, without the internet? How do you know that you want to go to a club and this is the way you want to play? You know what I mean?
That's the fun of it. That's you touch the thing. That's the thing. It's finding something that touched you in a moment, and that you believe that it will work, and you find the courage to play it at the time, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Every one of us at these moments, but that's the thing. I'm having chills.
I don't think we didn't know exactly. Just let's play this record, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, next time it's gonna work. You know, keep pushing, keep playing, keep pushing.
And what was amazing at that time was because there was Alcântara Mar, there was Kremlin, there was Incognito, which is a little bit more industrial, but the way Luís Leite played at Alcântara was completely different than the way Top played, and it was different than if you went to an after and there was FeRRo. Everybody had all of a sudden their own style. Nobody was copying anyone. You know, even Yen at Fragile, she played completely different. But everything was connected. Everything was connected. And I think this is what, because it was so new, to me, it's so amazing how something grew, something so magical in Portugal, but everything was so different. There was also Caos, there was She's Club, and Caos was a little bit more house, She's Club was a little bit more techno. But how did we get to this point? You know, how did we learn without any information?
Well, the information was arriving to... I used to work on another record store, which we call Bimtor, for many years. It was the main record store to import music to Portugal and distribution. All DJs buy the music from Bimtor. Luís Leite used to work there, FeRRo used to work there too. So every Thursdays we had a couple of friends, more intimate, they are waiting outside because the records are arriving on that day, at the end of the day, and they was waiting until 8 o'clock. We opened the boxes,
Totally true.
made the distribution, and then, okay, you can come in, take yours, this is yours, this is yours. So, but for those records arriving in the record store, we had a job before that, is to choose the records. So I used to spend like mostly in the afternoons on the phone with our supply in America.
And a fax machine.
Yeah, they send us a list from fax, the list what the record is going to come out next week, and then we listen on the phone the titles. He was playing from that. He was saying, okay, we want 10 of these,
Crazy.
20 of these, 40 of these, and then they arrive on the next week. So from that week, all Portugal is going to have this music. And there used to be some privileged DJs, which I'm included, used to have those samples a few weeks earlier. So you can play some records before the other DJs have it. And we are very involved on this industry, basically. Okay, this is our job. This is serious. We have to work on this and bring the records, choose, play them, and sell them, basically. So that was for many, many years like that before the internet.
We spent like 1 hour listening records. Normally I was speaking with someone in Italy. He was speaking, I think he met Villa Lobos in that warehouse from Germany.
Yeah.
So
I used to pair America.
Yeah.
America was me.
But it was
Germany. Germany was with me.
it was crazy.
It was very, very
Techno
apparent.
guys, you see? How is distribution?
It was very apparent in your music. Yeah, I mean,
I had to travel to buy records because I didn't have no, really, when I would arrive at the shops, those records were all gone because they were, because they were also DJs and they had friends in the DJ scene, so I would never get any of those records, and so I would have to go to London to buy records, and I used to go a lot to outside to get those, new music, different music. Also, yeah.
But it's funny because in the beginning of the 80s, there was fewer shops. I bought some records at Father, yeah. And there was a shop in Arieiro, a mall, Centro Comercial, okay. And I was living. I live in Estoril, so. The records come Tuesday or something. Every Tuesday, I get up around 7 a.m. to be there at 9 o'clock to buy records. It was like 3-4 copies, and that was much difficult. Sometimes we receive something like 2-3 copies, and if we play that records in Alcantara, Tó, and other DJs, if it sells, they will go to the record shop and ask for that record. Which record did you play? Blah, 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 That's a different way to sell records at that
later
time.
I did the same with you.
Actually,
I would go to
Hannah,
Vitor
I
and ask
think
for
in
the
night
record.
there are a
Which
lot
record was
of
you playing?
records, for instance, in Lisbon. Not only house and techno, but if you go to, I don't know, Valentim de Carvalho, they have a great section of acid jazz, this kind of stuff. Or if you go to Zé Guedes Controverso, of course, Zé Guedes is it's one of the most important guys in that history.
That's true.
Because when you go to Controverso, Zé Guedes look at you and, well, I'm exaggerated a bit, but he knows exactly what you want. It's this fantastic character.
but this is the thing that I've always had with going to record shops, was that they knew what you liked. And they were so important, these people that worked in record shops. Like, I mean, I was young when I was going in Philadelphia to buy records, and he knew, oh, I have a Smiths record for you, or a new Cure.
I didn't have that experience. I would be asked why was I buying so many records,
Yeah.
They would say, why are you buying so? Because I'm a DJ. And they would question again if I was a real DJ,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. I mean, this is another topic that we're going to talk after, but your journey as a woman in the middle of all these men.
That's a long story. I mean, but I had a different experience from all of them. At the time it was not, like this for me. But it was different. Yes.
We have some DJs like Belita from the beginning, like Carla Saraiva, Sandrinha from Oporto. So, they didn't. It was a man thing most, but we had some good. Always.
But I just always remember going to the clubs and it just being men.
But one of the
Yeah,
things...
there was just men.
It
I
was
mean,
men.
Belita started, I think she started playing a year before me. So we were the first.
Yeah.
So we had to, I mean, come on. I mean, you know, we were not, we were, you know, we were women. It
Yeah.
was different, you know, we were not buddies with the other DJs, you know, we were not hanging out together all the time. You know, even being in a band with just men, it was also another experience. You know, I mean, it's I was like being in a van with just guys making jokes that, you know, were yeah, you know what I mean.
That's jokes.
It was like that. I mean, I'm not saying. I think DJs were not like that, you know, because you know bands, you know, it's different, and hip hop it's also very misogynist, you know.
Well, I have a few stories. I'm joking.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying that we were not welcome, you know. It was just like a different experience because you are a woman, you know, surrounded by men all the time, at night, in clubs, with alcohol, with other stuff happening. And, you know, and I was the only woman, I mean, in the booth, you know, it's
But I think the funny thing in the 90s, more in the 90s than nowadays, I think, in dance music, it was, of course, in terms of the people who practice the music, there is this different of genres, but the consumer is completely different. If you go to rocks in Gaia, there is one room to techno and another room to house and even a third room to drum and bass, and they are completely different. There are more, you know, girls in the house with DJ vibe, with the vocal stuff and this kind of stuff, more, you know, more melodic in a certain way. But I don't know, if you go to Kremlin, it's a very mixed crowd, actually. Because in Kremlin you are a bit different also, because you mix a bit techno house at the end of the night.
Play 8-9 hours.
Yeah.
It was...
Yeah.
So,
and that's also the thing, because now DJs play 1 hour, 2 hour sets, and at the time, you guys played all night.
7 days a week.
more or less, but during the parties, no, during the parties in the castles, blah, blah, blah.
No, the raves
Yeah,
were
yeah,
different.
that's
The
different.
raves were
But
different,
club
but,
thing
but
is-
the clubs, I mean, so I ran a nightclub in New York, and one of the first things I said was, I want to have residents, because this is what I liked.
It's a school.
It's a school, and I wanted to have.
You learn that.
I wanted to have residents, and it was really hard to bring people to see the same DJs over and over.
Yeah.
It's completely changed. No one, I don't know. It's really hard to throw parties nowadays with just the same people, week after week. You know, every day almost. So that's changed. So then let's move on to the rave scene. When the rave started, right? And the DJs left the clubs and they went into the rave scene. What changed?
Some DJs, they didn't change from the club to raves.
Yeah.
They start to playing in those parties. Well, in Portugal, we can call it raves, but it was a legal rave, like they said in Paraíso. Okay. Everything was doing for a purpose, and we didn't want any lack with the authorities, with the fire department, all of that. We have all those dead people in those parties, you know. And I think it starts before the first one. It was in Coimbra. I think before that, she can speak about that, and so here in Lisboa, I think the small parties.
Chabregas?
Chabregas,
The
exactly.
Chabregas ones. Yeah.
I've been there once, but they start there. Yeah, Belita.
Yeah, that was Belita,
There
Torrichardi,
was Belita, yeah.
Palneri used to be involved.
Yeah, there was Palneri and Belita.
Yeah.
Belita was dating Palneri at the time, I think. So I think they started doing
Yeah,
these parties. Yeah.
I remember that was the first
Yeah, it was
Rave.
Xabregas.
Yeah,
Underground party.
but that happens because we start to have problems with the times on the clubs. Because in the 80s, 90s, the clubs closed at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And then we
They started at 10 o'clock and closed it at 4. And with Plateau, we start to extend the night to 4:30, 5:30. And when I left, it was like 5:30, 6. And then Alcantara opened. It was the main club after a Plateau in 88. The Alcantara opened, and when Alcantara opened, it was a Plateau, but 3 times the size. So they have to open more the doors for the people. Much more fun, yeah.
But I do remember driving after Kremlin to Estoril.
Yeah,
to
on that
Tamariz.
period you stop it.
For 2 hours, we would go to Tamariz.
Because the license it was only
I
until 4
I
o'clock.
was in Tamariz playing.
Open again at
that
6. And
With
Kremlin
the
was
then
opening at 6, I think,
everybody would
wasn't
go
it?
back.
With different license, like
exactly.
Bakery license,
bakery
right?
license. That's why we had on the after hours people crossing the dance floor with some croissants.
Yeah,
But
that's
and,
true.
Anna,
you know.
at that time there was people coming from Braga for the after hour in Braga in
I
Guimarães.
remember.
And it was on that period Xabregas come up.
yeah.
And it was like, okay, we have something new to go and different. And yeah, we did a couple of parties there before Antonio Cunha one day decided to invite 4 DJs from Lisbon to play first time ever in a different
In a
location, which is a club. They call like almost a rave, but it was not a rave, it was a party in the club with different DJs.
Raven party.
That was the first. Yeah, that was the first step for what comes next.
It's funny. I do remember the cakes.
Yeah.
In the middle of the dance floor. We're like, what is going on? And now I know why.
Just in
I
case
know
someone
this.
was there for
yeah.
inspection, you know, they say, no, they have right food.
The cakes stay there.
Cakes was their job.
That was funny.
From what we learned during the movie, there was this legislation that would force the clubs to close at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So these people came up with creative strategies to open again at 6 as bakeries and stuff like that. But this was only in Lisbon, right? Because you would go to
Yes.
Estoril to
Yeah,
play
we went
in
to
the meantime,
Estoril.
like from...
And we had lucky that the owners, they want to do this because it was not us. They have to be the owners of the club. In this case, it was the owners from Kremlin, the Russia, Rock Brothers in English.
Gosh.
The Rock Brothers. They decided to switch, you know, the way to, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to stop 2 hours. All the people, they went outside in the stairs waiting. Some of them were going to Estoril for the other parties, and then he came. But yeah, thanks for them.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Antonio Cunha and Pedro Lata.
Yeah.
And all of these people like Nuno Carvalho from the She's Club. And they were, to me, maybe I'm wrong, the first promoters, the first people to, you know, do these parties and
Cunha was the first one.
Yes.
Pedro Lata starts Sundays in Alcântara Mar with trance parties.
Yeah,
I think he was one of the main.
More promoter kind
More
of promoter
promoter.
guy.
Let's start
Not the
doing
production.
trance parties. You know, very psychedelic at that time.
I remember his clothes very well.
Yeah. Then came Nuno.
Palmieri as well, right?
Yeah, Palmieri as well with Cunha. Before Cunha, maybe. It was the
But
first.
Palmieri, I have an impression that he was also a little bit of an agent.
Yeah.
An agent, manager.
Yeah, it used
They
to be-
were all of them, except Pedro, Nuno, and Cunha. And then they start with an agency, and you know, it's the 3 of them. They started doing that.
This is where everything started to be a business.
Funny because the first party in Coimbra, the first big
And the first problems also.
Yeah. We had at the time we had like a
Competition.
group called Happy Zone, and Happy Zone was yeah, it was like most of them were DJs. Me, Into, João Daniel, Torrichardi, Belit, I think, Paul Neri, and Cunha starts the cows at that time. So the first party was made with Happy Zone and cows. So, and then things.
For me, Cunha
developed
is a
from there.
visionary
Yeah.
in terms of, how to emerge with the business. You have that vision. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Because actually we are talking about, something that appeared in that period, or this emergency, but at the same time, there is nothing, actually.
Yeah.
And Cunha, I think it's incredible in that sense. Of course, Thor knows better than me, but I don't know. I go with these guys to Brazil, to Ibiza, and Cunha always have this, always have this vision of something. Actually, of course, you have the passion, but also that
He's a
industrial
business-
vision.
A businessman.
And then after, of course, Nuno, which is club, and there is also another character that I think it's important here, Blinds,
Blinds.
of course. Yes, of course, we don't.
It's true,
With
it's
conflicts, with problems,
Yeah.
with Blinds, it's important, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, of course.
Because we are talking about a history that it's not harmonic. It's that there is a lot of contradictions here. I grew up in Barreiro with illegal rave parties, also not. The legal ones. So there is a lot of stars in that history, actually. But I think this dream of people who want to live with her passion, is this passion, I think Cunha is one of, he knows exactly how to do it. And even for a project like I Was More Kid, like a Cool Train Crew, we play with in the small rooms with these guys in Cadoc or Lucumia and this kind of stuff, or Vaticano in Barcelos, or but at the same time, Cunha have this energy to say it's possible. If you want to live with music, it's possible. And actually, if you look at my crew, Tiago Miranda, DJ Johnny, Rui Murca, Diniz, they are still in music, so it's possible actually. And all these guys, it's the proof also.
Special castles at the time.
The castle parties.
Yeah.
Can we talk about these castle parties? Because honestly, they were so good. I remember Jeff Mills when he came, and it was raining a lot. Do you remember this?
That was in Montemor, I
Yeah,
think.
in Montemor.
Yeah.
And they had to cover him in plastic.
Well, I remember the first one.
1997. I remember this part.
But the first
No,
one
it was way before 97.
It was a question of time with Eric May, I think. Exactly.
before that, before 94, before
Yeah.
Santa Maria da Feira,
Yeah.
we had the one in Montemoro Velho with Charlie from Drum Club, with Derek May.
Exactly.
Jean Daniel.
That was question of
together,
time.
Yeah,
Question of time, exactly.
yeah, with Cunha also, I think. I think Cunha was. Yeah,
Yeah, he was involved
yeah.
before.
That was in 1993.
Probably. I helped in the production at the time. I was not playing yet.
In 1993, I think I did my rave in Mangualde.
You did it? Yeah.
You played. Really? Yeah, really. With João Daniel,
So many parties.
Mangualde.
with João Daniel, and with Mario Hawk. Yep, in a factory. You don't remember this?
No, we don't.
Oh, wait.
I went to so many
But it was like the third.
He doesn't have a mic,
rave
but I can
in
relate to it.
Portugal. It was probably the third one.
That one, I remember.
It was after Coimbra. It
Yeah,
was
but
after
that
Coimbra.
factory Coimbra was later. It was 19.
That was later.
No, maybe it was definitely a factory. It was a Halloween party, and we gave all the money to Abraço at the time.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember.
Yeah, the
some-
T-shirt was like a condom, And then it said Halloween
right.
party.
You showed me the flyer. That's the only thing I know about that party.
There's no pictures. There's nothing. It was.
Thank God.
There was 3,000 people at this party. So another question is, you know, again, pre-internet, people were doing raves. How the hell did everybody know where these raves were? How did
Word of mouth.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Flyers and
Some flyers.
And
Yeah.
flyers, a lot
Yeah.
of flyers. Big posters, you know.
Some posters, record stores, and
Yeah, exactly.
all the people came to the record store, knew it was something gonna happen in a couple of weeks, and then they spread the message. And it was a fanzine, dance club
Yeah,
starts.
Dance Club was a fanzine.
Before this
Exactly.
magazine, it was to
Yeah.
be like a photocopy
Yeah.
kind of. It was a fanzine. Nuno, and he's
I have
doing
one
it.
copy there.
He was doing the promoter.
I knew Nuno when he was starting the dance club as a fanzine, actually.
Yeah, distributing on Motor, first copies.
Yeah.
It was on the, like 100 copies, something like that.
So the record shops were the hub
Yeah.
of distribution of information.
Lisbon and Porto and Algarve as well.
Yeah. I mean, Algarve, Cadok. There was the
Technology
other
at
one.
the time
What was
and
the other one on the beach?
Locomia.
Locomia.
And the business really started like I had some fights with the X Club and the Caos to have the best placement
Yeah.
for the advertisers on the magazine. Things started getting
Well,
big.
there was a big rivalry between Couch
Yeah, yeah.
and She's Club. I remember when Jiggy went from one to the next.
Yeah, stuff like that.
There was fireworks thrown in the party. Like, it's true. Like it was a big scandal. And
It's like Messi, Jiggy.
Yeah, kind of.
but it's funny because like when you went to a rave, and I lived in Lisbon for a while, then I moved to Mangualde, which is really far. And when I got there, nobody knew what a rave or a party was. Nobody knew what electronic music was. And I just said, okay, everybody, we're going into a party. And they're like, a party where? In Coimbra. So 10 cars, everybody would go. Nobody knew what would happen. You would get there, and it was just like, wow.
But I think
We had that experience, right?
Yes.
When we was on the way, you were in the car with me
Yeah.
and João Daniel,
Exactly.
someone else, on the way
Ne-
to Estação de Luz, the party for the first time. 4 or 5 DJs from Lisbon went to play, and we were on the way and we was saying, "Who's gonna come through here to this?"
nothing's gonna
It
happen.
is gonna be nobody's gonna be here. No, it's gonna be
was
empty. We'll see. Blah blah blah. And then we came out from the highway, start to get in those second roads, and suddenly you was cars on the road, stopped by one side and the other one. We tried
And
to
it was
pass and we
first
couldn't
news
pass, and then it was
on TV.
completely packed. It was crazy. It was wow.
Well,
Where these people come
to one
from?
of the questions he was doing, who's going to come? I'm going to tell you. Me and Paul, we organized the bus leaving from
Oh yeah.
leaving from from Marquês de Pombal, and we packed the bus and we went to have fun.
And Coimbra was the same. I think 80% of the people that came to Coimbra didn't know nothing, did
No.
shit about.
But in
Yeah.
Coimbra, there was a lot of people. There was Zé Salvador, and he was doing, he had a bar, Mil Olhos. There was also Nuno Cacho. You know, there was many people in
Nuno
Coimbra.
was involved.
Cunha, he
at
was
the
from
time.
Coimbra. He was
Yeah,
raised in Coimbra. He's got his record store in
So
Coimbra.
he had to
So,
pull
And
the
also he's a
strings
DJ
there,
in
you know.
Coimbra, in States.
it states, yeah, he used to play this club States.
And then
In Mil Olhos there is also Afonso Macedo.
yeah, there was Afonso Macedo who's also passed away. But yeah, I think that area, because I lived in Lisbon, and then I stopped coming to Lisbon because all the parties were in the north. So
Not true.
it's true. For me, it was because
Most
I
of
was
them-
I was going to Enseada. I was
Pasha.
DJ Harvey at
Pasha
Enseada.
Alfir.
I mean, Surgeon. He was 16. You know, when he played, and he played records, and I mean, there were so many things happening in the north, and then Lisbon became a little bit just more nightclubs and so the big parties. I mean, the party in Figueira da Foz with Carl Cox, with 20,000 people.
That was huge.
It was a massive party that nobody knew what they were going to.
No, at that time, maybe...
No, it's not true.
I didn't know there was going to be
in that
20,000
period,
people at a
Carl-
rave.
Carl Cox is a star in that period.
At that time,
Of
it was...
course,
and
but
no,
20,000 people?
most of that people was young.
It was 20,000.
Was young people, and they knew they buy CDs from Carl Cox and other
The compilation
Yeah.
CDs.
compilations
instead
and
of-
all that, you know.
And I
Some
remember
of them
there,
knew
there
it.
was two rooms, and that's also a very good thing that inspired me in my career having a nightclub in New York was with the two rooms, there was always two styles. Because one room, if it was techno, at the end of the, after an hour, sometimes you were like, oh, I need to go chill for a second, so you would go to the house room or the ambient room. And I think this got lost a little bit in today's dance scene. Now, there's only one room or there's two rooms, but it's very similar music. And I think I learned a lot about dance music because there was two rooms or three rooms, because then you can hear the house, you could hear the techno, you could hear the ambient. And I think that's very important, and I don't know if you guys had the same experience.
Well, I have one thing that I think we're missing now, because everybody is doing small sets. Everyone is kind of playing the same thing. And they have to drop in 1 hour and a half, they have to show whatever they can do. I prefer the long sets. I prefer to start and stop, and to begin the night and end the night and do the journey. And I would love that this would come up again. There are little clubs that are doing this, that are hiring only one DJ for a night, like 5A, for instance, which is, I love to play there because of that, exactly. Because you open the club, empty, and you go from there on, you build a journey, you play everything, you go everywhere, but in a way that makes sense. Not in half an hour playing everything, it's kind of, you cannot build a story. It doesn't work like that. And I hope that we get into that again, to know the DJ, because the thing you said, you were listening to this or that, they are all different. When you listen to that amount of time for a DJ, you start to know the character of the style of the music, and then you can tell, man, this is this DJ playing.
Yeah. If we play a track at that time, me, George, and Danielle, him, and someone was listening, dancing, say, oh, that's this DJ because of that track.
Yeah.
But I think it's the background. With that background, with the resident DJ, I think in a club, for example, Kremlin and Alcantara, there was space to play different kinds of dance musics, from clubhouse to vocal to techno to minimal to more trancey stuff, things like that. But you need to have that background. Today you need to filter when you go to looking at shops in the internet. You have to filter the music you want to listen. It's so many stuff. I could say 50% are shit. It's true.
More, Luis, it's much
But
more.
you need to filter it if you want to do something, if you want to play 2 hours, and in 2 hours you can do something different. It's different times, It's if you have that background, you can do that.
João, I want to hear your opinion about what you hear from
I
the past.
grew up listening to all of these people, and my experience as a teenager, as a raver and a club goer, would be that they would play long sets. I remember like the first time that I went to these legendary nights that would happen once a month at Lux with Taw playing. And I would be there for 6 or 7 hours just listening to one DJ, and like this always happened in the first clubs. It was how the scene would go, and that got a bit lost, obviously, because there are many more DJs, much more demand. But Lux still did it for a long time with resident DJs like Ian, and I would go there just to listen to Ian for 6 or 7 hours.
She has the background for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And also DJs would break hits. Like like what you were saying, that you would go to listen to a DJ because this person will play this music, this specific music or this specific track that you won't listen to any other DJ playing. Obviously, if you go around the world, that would be more people playing the same track, obviously, but what I was saying in the beginning, like I remember vividly the first time that I heard like this Prodigy remix of Method Man, and it was only Yan Sung playing it. Like no one else would play it that I knew of, at least. I love when a promoter or a club invite me to play a long set because that's what I grew up listening to. And yeah, it's hard to tell a story in like 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. But I mean, obviously that's valid as well. But yeah, you can tell a better story or a bigger story at least if you play a long set.
Yeah. I have a question for To. And this is because one thing that I learned from you was you brought a lot of people from New York. And of course, you know, I'm a big New York fan. And how, I guess it's from the productions and it's from those phone calls that you made and you listening to the records. But you brought, you know, DJ Pierre, you brought Frankie Knuckles, Tony Humphries, all of these important people that are, some of them are still around, still DJing. But how did you decide how to bring them and why to bring them?
Well, I think in the other life, I used to live in America, like in the Indians kind of, you know, because I always had some connection with U.S., with New York, musically, because I don't know, it was like the sound was coming from there, the deep house from the early 90s. It was something different than you can hear in the UK production or French or Italy, you know. And I was really into that kind of sound. So, and then I was working with this warehouse which supplies the music for our store. And one day I went to New York for the first time. And yeah, I had the whole experience at night. I stopped at Roxy. It was Frankie Knuckles' anniversary, so I had the chance to be in his birthday party. And then I went to Sound Factory to listen to Junior Vasquez. And then I feel where I am, you know. I had to touch me like this, and suddenly I remember to went in the club straight to the dance floor, and I saw 4 guys on the top of the speakers, completely naked, dancing. They had the towel, but then they dropped the towel. They dropped the towel down, so they was completely really. And then I say, okay, I had to stop. I move out. I went step. They used to have the stairs on the side, so I sit there and I start to visual everything. So, and that was like a big touch in me, you know, like wow, this is something special. And then a few years later, So Get Up, born. It was something, and ended up at the Sound Factory. So this all is connected. But my connection also, I had the chance to meet a lot of DJs like Frankie, Danny. Never met Junior actually, but you know, Angel Moraes. First time he came to Europe, it was me to bring him to play, and yeah, Johnny Vicious, François Kerbokian, Matthias Elborn. It's a lot of.
And your friend DJ Harvey.
Well, Harvey is English, he's not American.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
English.
Yeah, he lives in America now, but he's English.
Yeah.
So I met Harvey around that period, but he was from England. And also, it's a very special character.
It's the first time that I saw you dance with DJ Harvey.
Yeah?
Everybody
You're
dances
lucky,
with
man.
DJ Harvey.
This never
Everybody.
happened. It's
Oh my God, DJ Vibe is dancing.
yeah,
DJ Harvey, everybody dances with him, and everybody dances with their hands in the air. That's the way that's the
I think
energy.
he's also a musician. He's a drummer. I
Yeah,
think.
he's a drummer. Yeah. One thing what I want to talk about, because when you go to New York, and it's a very gay-oriented movement, and in Portugal, it wasn't like that.
We had that too,
We did.
but not like that scale.
Exactly, and this is something that that people have commented about the movie. They're like, well, where's the gay community? And then I said, they were there.
They were there.
Everybody was mixed. It was everybody was mixed. There was no separations. There was everybody was dancing.
The movie, yeah.
And it was amazing. I think these parties were amazing because everybody was together. It was a community.
That's why when we look at the footage, that
It doesn't matter.
yeah,
It doesn't
and,
matter.
It feels like a party that happened in the future, not 30 years ago.
There was no segregation.
No.
There was just
I mean,
love.
obviously, socially, there would be many issues. Portugal is a backwards country, but these places or these parties and these happenings would be a freer environment for everyone to be there without the judgment they would face in everyday life.
Nobody cares.
Nobody
know.
cared. I
In
remember.
Kremlin, in Alcantara, we had so many different
Yeah.
genres, so many different kinds. We had people from TV. We had gay people. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Nobody
nobody
gives a
cared.
shit about the other one.
Yeah. But this of course. But like this music was born. It was born through a gay culture. And that's always to be respected and honored.
Comes from the disco scene.
Yeah.
It was the
back
first
in the
to
70s.
export them.
Yeah. It's funny, I grew up in Philadelphia, which was where disco was born.
Yeah.
And I hated disco. And now I love disco, and now I'm a big disco girl. So
If you can see DJs like Denny Tenaglia and other DJs, they are gay people.
yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah, of course.
But we didn't.
In the 90s, I guess 90% of the industry it was gay.
Yeah.
You know,
I
It was
mean,
a gay scene.
we started off with
especially in America.
we started off with David Mancuso, Nicky Ciano, Frankie Knuckles,
All gay people.
all
No-
gay. I mean, Larry, of course.
Yeah, but it's more the house thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And in America, because when the acid house began in Europe, it was integrate all this kind of American stuff. So the phenomenon in Europe, it's completely different in a certain way. When if you look at techno in Berlin and this kind of stuff, I don't feel that there is this kind of, feeling of a segregation or something. It's completely different.
But even in Detroit.
But actually, in the middle of the 90s in Portugal, when the English press came to Portugal, like music, and say, oh, Portugal is the new Ibiza, in a certain way in that period, this kind of narrative, the gender narrative becomes more, there is a conscience about that. Not you go to a certain part because there will be, the queer community or something, but there is a conscience about, the gay people, there is in a certain way that occurs, but not in the same vein as, in America, of course.
Yeah. I think we've passed it. I just wanted to ask if anyone has questions. No? You're good? No questions?
Can I say one thing? It's
Yeah.
funny, we didn't talk about music, the producing music in Portugal in that period. I think, in a way, there are very good music in that period, house and techno. And after all these years, the majority of the people, of course, I know Shcuro or Marco do a great job, saying, A Paul or I don't know, Jiggy or
Cult of Chromeria.
Urban Dreams, all these guys make great music, but I don't know, the majority of Portuguese people don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Of course, they know something about the parties, that spirit, but nothing about the production music in that period. And it's a pity, because there are great music in that
Amazing.
period.
I suggest a documentary about the production of music of Portugal. That's my suggestion for the next chapter.
We're showing the movie tonight at 8 o'clock here in Costa de Caparica. So if you would like to see Paraíso, I really highly suggest it because it's amazing. And you go through a lot of emotions, at least I did, sitting with all my friends from that time period, laughing a lot, talking about herbal ecstasy, and then at the end crying.
Yeah.
And drugs?
That's true.
There's nothing about drugs? Oh my God.
I
I don't take drugs, actually.
You didn't watch the movie? You watched they talk about drugs there.
I honestly,
It's part of a culture scene, like
Yeah.
in the 60s with LSD. Come on, let's face it.
love saves the day, LSD.
Yeah, but it's part of the scene.
Yeah.
In the 70s, there was more heroin or something, but that's part of culture. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I don't think
Let's face it then.
that was for me, the biggest part of what was going on in Portugal. I mean, yeah, I remember the first time I took an ecstasy. It was at Rodriques. Somebody put a pill in my mouth, and I had no idea. But
I'm from Holland.
Yeah, and they were coming from Holland. I actually know that guy. He came to my wedding. But that wasn't the most important thing to me, because the first time I went to Kremlin and I listened to the music, I was sober.
Yeah.
But Portugal,
Yes,
it was
yeah.
nightlife until 90.
Not everybody takes drugs.
And
or
then
took
from
drugs,
90
yes.
until today, it's a completely different
Yeah.
story. And that was because the ecstasy.
And
for sure.
I do think that a lot of the raves.
Yeah,
ended.
I am a DJ and I don't take drugs.
I remember-
And I've been DJing for a long time. So you don't need,
Yeah.
you don't need.
You don't need
know?
it, but
It's part of
Because
it. but
the
you don't
music
need
is
it.
transcendent. That idea of transcendent, it's always in the music, in house and
Yeah,
techno.
it's always. But,
yeah, but I remember
you-
seeing people before they didn't like electronic,
And then
the
they
music
liked it.
with the kick 4x4, bang, bang, they don't like it.
Yeah.
There was like from the pop, they like to dance with playing guitar on the dance floor. That's the way they dancing. I was playing on that time. I saw that. And a few years later, after that pills arrived, I saw the same people, hands in the air, enjoying the music, and it was not one there or two. It was like hundreds of people. So that's why I'm talking about like
No,
that.
no, of course, it changed. It changed people.
I don't think they changed. It's in you.
Yeah.
It's just a catalyst. It opens up. It speeds up the process.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change you. You continue to be who you are.
And they
Yeah.
come to you and say, you are the blind. You DJs are the blind. What? You didn't make parties.
I never heard that.
So,
That's funny.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This was amazing.
Obrigado. Obrigado.
Oh, she has a question.
Hello. So to the guys that used to sell and distribute records, you said you would listen and choose what would come to Portugal. Very curious if you ever looked at it from a way, because you have the DJ, the artist, but you are choosing for them. So if you're picking a box of records for them to come and pick up really early on a Tuesday, did you ever think that you're actually helping to form their career by the choices that you put in the box? Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or because the eyes are like, ooh,
But
I never thought about it that way. But
yeah, of course.
We choose. I mean, we separate for some people. We knew it. They gonna love it, and there's their own style. If something new, strange, different, completely was arriving, we probably don't put it on the stacks for them. But we can play. We can show. Oh, we get this. We receive this. It's kind of weird, and. Can you want to listen and you listen and say, okay, I like this, I can take it. So next time something we heard similar of this, I'm sure we can put it on the site for him as well. It was like that.
It works like that.
it's if you hear every single one of these DJs play, they're all so different.
Yeah. It's more for the people they're helping to choose for.
Yeah.
That might not have the time or the privilege, I guess, to have early access. Like Jan was saying, she didn't have the access, so she had to go and travel and find her own records. So it's not to say that you were responsible for their career, but it's an interesting way to look at it, that you helped shape it because you had access to them and know what they like, and you're really good at choosing. And you have access to all the records before everybody else does.
Yeah. You're correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
One more question?
It's not a question, it's like to say that we knew it in that time in the early beginnings. We knew it. No, I was there, yes, of course. I'm a quota of the Portuguese scene as a dancer, and even I have friends, they were DJs also. So we knew it, that in Alcântara Mar we will have that thing from Leite, that was progressive, and we will dance till 6. And we knew it when we moved to Kremlin at 6 a.m. till, I don't remember the hour, but till we will have something more house, deep and tribal with Mario Rock. Before that it was only Mario Rock and you, Top Pereira. So we knew it, that we knew that they will put that song, that this belonged to DJ Vibe and this song belonged to Mario Rock. And even for me, Leite was more progressive, and Jiggy was more. When we start the night, we want to start the night with Jiggy because of the pull up, but the pull up was Mario Rock's coat also. Pull up, put your hands in the hair. So I guess that we should also, I'm talking because we should, I am the professional and woman that I am and the creative that I am, because I have been there, every weekend, every rave, from the first in Chabregas. I guess I have 16. I'm almost 50, so I was in that Convento do Beato that I don't know if you mentioned here. That was one of the first, I guess it was the first in Lisbon. We moved from Kremlin to Convento do Beato in that day, and it was all day raving. I was also in Montemor and Santa Maria da Feira, and when Cox appeared, we are like, whoa, this is the guy, and we were like, and we were younger, and we were like, and already. About the drugs, of course, that I didn't start with them. I started in danceterias, at Franceses, in Barreiro, at Crazy Nights in Lisbon, that is Andrade Corvo and Loucuras, and we felt the music before, I guess, all of us, before drugs, and Jan is here and she can confirm she didn't take it, but all of us before drugs, we really feel the music, and I guess in my side was from my family side and from what we listen at home, funk, blues, and this kind of stuff. After clubbing, of course, that pill comes, but you can choose to decide to still take it or not. I took I prefer acids just because maybe I went through Goa trance music after clubbing for a long time, but I really still respecting you a lot, guys. Thank you, because we did this together. You made it, and we dancing, and this is the 50s people, or 50 more, Vitor. I'm playing with you. And another thing is that, yeah, I know. And another thing that I want to mention, that as you said, Anna, there is not like, boxes for gays, for black people, for, from everyone were together. And I guess it was a mark on the Portuguese story, not only on dance music, but we were all together in that time. Like Alcântara dancer said, it's proibido proibir. And so I just I need to finish, so I will be thinking.
Obrigado.
Eu, por acaso adoro isso. O proibir é proibir. Fomos todos. É isso, fomos todos.
Olha, sem vocês não podíamos estar aqui também.
Não, estas pessoas marcaram a minha vida para sempre.
She did the thing, she did the drop the mic.
Aqui e não só. Há aqui muitas pessoas que faltam. Há muitas pessoas que faltam. Pronto, obrigada.
Obrigado.